My name is Alex Kopic, and this is my Unit 6 presentation comparing network security risks of Company 2 and Company 3. The goal here is to determine whether the two companies have comparable security risk and to identify any recommendations based off of each network structure. For Company 2, the network appears to be relatively robust. It has a denser structure, overlapping communication paths. Nodes such as Specter, Stealth, and Shadow specifically appear very important node connection points based off of their bridge score. But the overall network has multiple alternative paths. This means that if one of these nodes goes down, many of the messages would still likely be able to move through the network using other connections. From an outage perspective, Company 2 is less fragile because it does not depend on only one or two critical bridge nodes. However, Company 2 still has security risk. This is because the network is more connected. Malware could potentially spread more easily if it reaches one of the central hubs. My recommendation for Company 2 is to focus on monitoring and containment. That looks like prioritizing endpoint protection, malware monitoring, and access controls for high connectivity nodes such as Shadow, Specter, and Stealth. The network does not need major redesign, but its central hubs should be monitored and treated as high priority security assets. Looking at Company 3, the network is much more fragile. It has few alternative communication paths and relies heavy on bridge nodes such as Nebula and Starhawk, Quanta, and Stardust. These nodes connect differently to parts of the organization, and if one of these bridges goes down, messages may not be able to reach certain parts of the network. This makes Company 3 more vulnerable to both outages and cyber attacks. If malware reaches one of Company 3's bridge nodes like Nebula, the impact could be significant because these nodes control access points between separated parts of the network. My recommendation for Company 3 is to reduce the single points of failure. The company should add redundant communication paths across the dispersed sections of the network, increase monitoring on bridge nodes, and prioritize endpoint protection for Starhawk and Nebula. Company 3 should also review whether business critical communication depends too heavily on a small number of employees or devices. Overall, I don't see the two companies as having very comparable security risk. Even if these companies have the same number of employees, their risk profiles are different because their network structures are different. Company 2 is more connected and resilient, but it needs stronger controls around central hubs to prevent malware spread. Company 3 is structurally more fragile because it has fewer bridge points and focuses on high-risk bridge nodes. My recommendation would be that Company 3 should prioritize for network redesign and redundancy, while Company 2 should be prioritizing monitoring, segmentation, and access control around central hubs. Thank you for your time.